Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. On my mama, on my hood, I look fly. That because Taryn asked here in the comments, that song was On My Mama by Victoria Monet. I love Victoria Monet. She won that Grammy. Yes, she did.
I only know it because you sing it to me all the time.
Yeah, it's a good song.
And I'm your mama.
It's a banger.
Good morning.
Good morning. You are listening to...
Abby's fired up already.
I am thriving. I'm surviving. I'm all the things right now.
I hope you're focused on something else, because usually that means you're going to start the roast early. We should change the name of the show.
What should we change it to?
To Roasting Jen.
Roasting Jennifer? I actually love that. I love making fun of you.
She does.
Yeah.
You do it at home too. So, well, we are home, but you know what I mean? It's not just reserved for our radio show. What are we talking about today, Abby? Go with the flow.
Today we're talking about going with the flow.
Okay. I tried to punt it to you, but apparently okay.
Sorry, y'all. I'm a little distracted this morning. But yeah, I'm in good spirits. I remember last week how I said my therapy appointment was rescheduled, so I had therapy this morning, so I'm feeling blessed.
Therapied?
Therapalized.
Therapalized.
That's Brother Carter's word. Yeah, I'm
Therapalized.
feeling therapalized this morning. So I'm surviving. I'm thriving. Ooh.
My laptop is not working, so I'm gonna have
R.I.P.
Maybe.
So sad.
I hope not. Well, maybe I do. Turns out I could get a Mac if I wanted. Who knew? Anyway, I don't know how to use it, so I shouldn't. Anyway, so I haven't got a lot of work done.
I'm Abigail.
I'm Jennifer.
Yes, and you're listening to Journeys and Ambitions with Abigail and Jennifer on LV Val Radio. Download the LV with Val app.
Thought you're going to go through the whole thing.
No.
Okay.
My sign language, I've not brushed up on that. Aaliyah says, good morning, friend.
Good morning, Aaliyah.
Terry says, happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy week. Happy life.
It came pretty quick this week. Did you have a good week?
I had a weird week, but I'm actually feeling really good. I'm feeling good about my weird week.
Okay.
Because I talked about it in therapy.
Oh, therapalized.
Yeah, I'm therapalized. Also, my hair is big and gorgeous because they say the higher the hair, the closer to God. So.
Well, I'm just like 8 inches taller than you, so.
She's serving.
I'm going to wait.
She's serving, but she's also serving the Lord. So, you know. See how I did that?
You are out of control this morning. Did you have coffee?
I didn't, actually.
Wow.
I had leftover Chinese food for breakfast.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
I believe.
I'm feeling great.
The best part about Chinese food is actually the next morning.
We have a special guest in here.
We do?
We do. Minnie.
Oh.
I'm going to bring her out later in the show. I'm going to bring out, y'all don't know, I have a daughter, and she is going to join us today. We're going to go cut to a break at some point. I'm going to bring her in because she's amazing. And she's a star. She really is. She truly is. She's truly a star. And she needs her moment.
We're all just, let's go with the flow.
Go with the flow. I'm going with the flow today, girl. There ain't no plan.
You really are.
I'm representing go with the flow.
Terry says I should get a Mac.
You should get a Mac.
I feel like there's a learning curve. I'm not prepared for it, but we'll see. My computer might be fine.
I have a Mac. It's great.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Sammy says, hi. Hey, girl. Hey, queen.
I remind you that I decided to get an Android and quickly did not like that decision.
I've actually been...
I have one of each.
I am going to make this... I'm going to loop it into our subject for today.
Please, because we're just...
I have actually been thinking, because my phone, I think it's an iPhone 11, and she's been acting up. She's been having a mind of her own lately. And so I've been actually... Probably I will at some point need a new phone. And I was thinking about getting Android. It's too late for me because... Because I've been going with the flow, and I bought a MacBook, an Apple Watch.
See what she did there?
Oh,
yeah.
I have an Apple Watch, I have a MacBook, I have AirPods, I have iCloud, like all the things. So it's like I'm too far in.
Invested.
I'm invested.
You're sticky, what they call it, like in the sales business. Yeah, like for my job, like you want people to buy all this stuff because exactly what you said. Now you're not going to switch because you're too invested.
I am too invested. Well, I'm a fool, is what I am. I felt
Are
right.
You?
I
Do
felt
you like,
right.
Oh, and you want an iPad too, don't you?
I do want an iPad. I really feel. Again, I'm going to tell you.
We're not being sponsored by Apple, by the way.
We're not being. I wish.
By anybody. Really.
But no, literally, speaking of going with the flow and being a planner, I'm actually not that great at going with the flow. It depends. We're going to get into that. But I do, and I've talked about my Google Calendar before. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys. You can be all up in my business.
Kind of impressive.
My Google Calendar. see how many colors there are on every single day. Don't read it. Mind your business. But see how many colors there are, and like I'm very. I have everything.
So you're a planner.
I'm a planner.
But are you okay? I feel like
so that's why I need an iPad. Hold on, I was getting somewhere. That's why I need an iPad, because if I had an iPad, you know how much more I would have my life together if I had an iPad? I'm like fully convinced. So you're my mom, Miss Carter, you're watching. I could use it for work. I'm just saying. Somebody needs to get me an iPad.
That's going to have to be your other mom, because it's not going to be this one. I got the watch. So I bought the watch.
You're telling Miss Carter to get me an iPad?
Yeah. If you think she needs one, it's all you, Miss Carter, because it's not going to be me.
I would use it for work. So, I mean, she could like write it off.
Anyway,
I need an iPad.
We're moving forward.
Yeah. So spontaneity. Go ahead. I'll shut up.
I think it depends. I think it depends on what we're talking about. So let's. I used to be, and maybe I still am to some degree, the one that like people call for last minute. You know.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm always down.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want to go to movies? Yep, let's go. What time? Yeah. You know, I don't need any real pre-planning with that.
Do you need to like mentally prepare though sometimes? Like I feel like because like if I'm not doing anything, it depends on who's asking me and what we're doing. If I'm gonna decide to do something last minute, because I also like.
I think it depends on my readiness level.
Yeah, if I haven't washed my hair.
Yeah, if I'm not dressed and if I'm not like 10 minutes, like I could walk out in 10 minutes, then I'm like, oh, I still have to shower and I have to get dressed and I have to get.
And it's a whole.
And then I'm like, don't really want to do all that, so maybe another day. That gets more as I get older too. But
read some comments really quick.
Yeah, we got good comments.
Taryn says, people that have iPads have their life together. I stand by that. Facts. Reason 10,000 why somebody needs to get me an iPad. I'm just saying.
It could be you.
And Maddie said, I already spent a lot of money on this computer. I'm not buying an iPad. I'm not feeding into the Apple conglomerate anymore. Someone needs to do it on my behalf. Thank you. Love you. Bless you. Maddie said, #iPad for Abby.
Oh my goodness. GoFundMe page.
I know. We need to start a GoFundMe page to get me an iPad, for real.
Well, in that
iPad
case.
Pro with a pencil and a keyboard. I need all the things too. Anyways, back to what we were saying. Sorry. I'm going with the flow a little too much today.
Yeah, like the caffeine flow or something. I'm not sure what's going on over here. No, so like I was, I think that I like to be spontaneous. I had a dream that, so I used to work in travel management.
I had a dream. Okay, keep going. No, you.
I like that song. Anyway, that's from Les Mis, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
Or I dreamed a dream. I sang the wrong word. Same thing.
It was close.
Yeah.
I can't with you. What is wrong with you this morning? Okay.
I'm sober, actually.
Oh, somber?
I'm just saying, no, sober. No, like I'm sober and I'm just pumped. I'm pumped.
Okay. All right.
Keep going.
Oh, travel. Okay. So I used to work in travel management, and which is, for those who don't know, is like a travel agency, but for businesses.
Corporate travel.
Corporate travel, yeah. Not like vacations. Although
that would be way more fun.
Probably.
Yeah.
And it was because we're in Houston, it was for like oil and gas people. Anyway,
Fact.
But so we would get these deals, right? Like in weird off times where, okay, so it's oil and gas, so people are going to like Dubai and all kinds of stuff like that, where the airlines had empty planes, or half empty planes. So they would come in and say, hey, travel agency people, would you like to go to Dubai for $99 round trip?
Oh, hell yeah.
Every day. But I couldn't because you were, younger.
You had a whole child.
I had a whole kid, things to do. Can't just jump on a plane to Dubai as much as I want to. Right.
Yeah.
And so I had to, I think it was like $200 to Singapore. Oh. $400 to New Zealand. And I was like, oh, I can't.
You should have said, fuck them kids and just gone.
And you could bring one person for that price, right? So
I would have left me alone. I'm saying.
She says that now. She did not say that then. She's like, oh, sorry for your loss. You're not going. It was always like when you had some sort of event that I could not miss.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was like, I can't wait until Abby's like grown and I'm going to do all this. I'm going to spontaneously go on these last minute. And they were last minute. That was a thing, right?
It's like, yeah, you have to go like,
yeah. So you have to have, I also had an expired passport at that time, but anyway. But so I was like, I'm going to, someday I'm going to do this. And I was really looking forward to it. And then we had a pandemic and
that ruined everybody's life.
And I don't work there anymore. So
That's okay.
Anyway, point being, like, I wanted to be like but speaking of that, right? So you and I went to Europe last year, and you know, there are some things you have to plan for in a trip like that. You have to plan
certain excursions.
Well, turns out, like,
a lot of
post-pandemic, like everything, right? And I don't know how it is in Florida or California right now, but for like Paris Disney, you have to buy the tickets, say what day you're going to go, what restaurants you want to go. You know, you have to do all of that ahead of time. I don't know if Florida and California are like that. I know they were. I don't know if they're still like that, but not pre-pandemic, right? You could just go. And then as we found out, like I had thankfully found out we wanted to go to the Anne Frank house, and that is no joke to get tickets to the Anne Frank house.
Didn't you have to like set a timer and like?
Yeah, I had to do it at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
They go, like, you have to go to their website. They go on sale like Tuesday morning, their time, right? And it's for the next 6 weeks. And then every Tuesday though is for the next 6 weeks. So I had to wait until that Tuesday or that week would come up.
Yeah.
And they go like that. And there's only so many. So I did that and I got the tickets. And I remember people asking, people had been, I was like, oh, we're going to Anne Frank. They're like, you got tickets, right? I'm like, yes, I got the tickets.
Yeah. You're good at thinking ahead on that. And
but we didn't get to go to the Van Gogh Museum.
Yeah. Because we didn't do that.
Because you had to do it for that too, which never thought about that.
And then you think it's just a museum, like, cause in Houston, you can just show up and go to a museum. They're free half the time. Like,
so, and then Versailles. So Versailles was the same thing, which I didn't know. You know, I think that, what did they say? That 20,000 visitors a day, and we couldn't get in. We did get in.
I was gonna say, we went.
Well, we went because I paid like triple for a tour guide. I bought him through a tour.
Yeah.
And then it was a stupid audio tour anyway. No. Although the guy was nice.
Yeah, the guy was cool.
But we
that
still
was
had
actually
that.
Really cool.
He was a nice guy.
Yeah, but I didn't listen to that. I listened to the man. But he
was very fun telling us when to take selfies. He's like, now.
Yeah.
This is the selfie hall.
But going back to traveling, like, I think that's something that you and we have a flow with it. And I think you and I balance each other out, because I think we've talked about this before, you're very indecisive, but you also like, I'm not roasting you. I'm just observing. She's very indecisive.
I am.
And I also don't like being asked a ton of questions. So I'm like, I was like, here are the main things I know I want to do, book it. And then the rest, I also want to have room to like explore and do spontaneous things, because sometimes you don't know what you want to do until you're there. That goes for all travel, not just, abroad. That can go for like, I even went on a weekend trip to Waco recently. And like, there was a few things we knew we wanted to do, but I kind of liked just like having the day to like, I know for sure I want to do this. Like, you have to have a few things. You can't just go somewhere with no plan, because that's stressful in itself, because then you feel like you're like wasting time. But I think you and I had a good balance of like, we had some things planned, but then we also had some, I knew, and I remember telling you, I want time to just walk around and figure it out and just explore, experience the culture. That's part of what traveling is fun for me. Is not just excursions and seeing things. It's literally just experiencing, the people watching. That is an activity in itself. Like, I don't mind sitting on a bench and watching people. That sounds creepy, but you know what I mean.
Oh, that's what old people like to do. Me. But I remember we went to Universal Studios with my parents. Mm-hmm. And they just like paid and then sat around and watched us go on all the rides and stuff.
Yeah.
But they were enjoying themselves. Like, they just got an ice cream and and people watched.
They were going with the flow.
And then we figured out the whole single rider thing. And we were like, boom.
But that would make me anxious if like I go on a trip with somebody and they give me like an hour by hour itinerary. Like, I'm very in the middle when it comes to planning and spontaneity. Like, I'm okay with a little bit of like, okay, around this time, around like lunchtime, like keep it loose, unless obviously there's reservations and stuff like that. Like, there are certain things that need to be on a time crunch. Like, even this weekend, I'm going to go get lunch with my friends. We originally said brunch, and I said, I'm not available till 3 p.m. So it'll be a late lunch is what it's really going to be. And, we are very like, we all have a lot going on. They have a lot of family celebrations that they have going on, and I have like work stuff. And so we do kind of have to like plan in that way. But then once we're together, then it's like, oh, like, do you want to go do something else? You know what I mean? Like, we plan the initial kind of hangout, but then from there, it's
and I think we said like back like to trips or stuff, like what, depending on where you're going, right? There's like one solid thing a day.
Yeah.
Or when we go to the beach,
I'm not a beach girl.
I know, but we used to go to the beach. So it'd be like, okay, this day we're renting a boat for half a day. And this day we're going jet skiing. But that's an hour. And then the rest of the day is like whatever we want to do. Yeah. Maybe we go. It also depends on weather too.
When we go to Florida, because our grandparents have a place for us to, well, my grandparents have a place for us to stay in Florida. So when we go, it's very, very relaxed. And in fact, we went sometime last year and like for around 4th of July, and half the time I was so busy that I was like, I want to do nothing. Don't tell me to do a single thing.
That's that kind of vacation.
And that's exactly what I needed and what I wanted. And then
that's the vacation you need after the Europe vacation. Cause you know, there's the vacation where you go. And then there's the one that you're like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to lay around and do nothing.
Yeah. You're like, I
enjoy both.
I don't want a plan.
I enjoy both. But if it's someplace I've never been before, I do have that like,
yeah, because you want to feel
I can lay around at home.
You want to feel like it's worth it. Yeah. Speaking of like traveling, I see this like kind of big debate online, and I typically don't travel with people other than you, to be honest. Like I have before, but like one thing I will never do is go on like a big, well, that's not true. I would. Y'all know I'm in the Houston show choir, and you know sometimes they do trips, and I would go on a trip with the choir. But like, you know how they say like girls trip, and it's like, first of all, these like out of town bachelorette trips. Sorry if some of y'all, I don't want to do that. Like, first of all, these are all like if I'm in your bachelorette party or whatever it's called, bridal party, and you invite me with all your friends, now I'm paying and taking my PTO to go hang out with your friends. No, that doesn't sound. And then like, what if some people are more, well, like
maybe
food.
sometimes they're friends too.
Sometimes it depends on the situation. I'm just talking about girls' trips in general with like people.
This is Gen Z stuff because my generation, we're past that. Although I'm going on a cruise next month.
I'm not done.
Sorry.
So
not spontaneous.
But like that's the thing about like traveling sometimes with people that you're not like super duper comfortable with, especially bigger groups. That's more people you have to make happy. I think traveling in smaller groups, especially if you want to like do everything together, 2 to 3, maybe 4 if y'all are really, really close. Because here's the thing, some people are way more food concerned. Like they're like, I want to wake up and I want to eat. Like, and some people are like, well, no, I want to wake up and I want to go for a run. If you are on vacation, you wake up and go on a run, you are not my friend. You are not my friend, girl. I'm not going on a trip with you because guess what? I'm going to sleep in a little bit because it also would irritate me if someone slept until 1 p.m.
Okay, we're way off topic.
No, we're not.
But my sister in Hawaii, got up every morning and went for a walk. Oh. And then went to Starbucks and like, or a coffee place. And she came back and I was like, I only see one cup.
And you know she's watching right now.
I think she is. And yeah. And she got up and put her workout and went for like a long walk. And I'm like, that's adorbs. And it probably was great in Hawaii, but it did not happen for me. But then she came back back with one coffee and I'm like, oh, ma'am, we are sharing a room. She brought coffee after that.
I don't think those types of people mean to do this, but you make me feel like I'm lazy. You make me feel bad about myself because you woke up and you went on your little run.
Nope. You won't feel that way when you get older. You know what you'll feel like? I just got the bathroom to myself. That's what you'll feel like.
That's also another thing, sharing bathrooms with people. Yeah. When you and I traveled, we had to share beds at some point together.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. We had to share a bed and that
because in Europe they pushed together 2 twin beds. We separated them. Like their king size bed is actually 2 twins pushed together.
Well, I remember, this is kind of getting off topic, but I remember I was on a phone call and she kept getting in. This was not a 3-person conversation. It was a 2-person conversation. I said, we were in the same,
that was the same bed. Yeah.
That was the same bed. So I said, can you put your headphones on? I said, listen to music or something. Put on a movie.
I was 100% in the conversation. I'm like,
she was. And I said,
I'm like, I agree with her.
You need to see your way out, actually, of this conversation.
It was a very small room. Anyway, so spontaneous. So
let's read some comments.
So what are other ways what about relationships?
I have to be a planner in relationships. I
mean like just the starting one. Like, should you just like jump into a relationship?
Oh, I do that. I don't think you should, but I do it.
Same.
Do as I say, not as I do. I move very quickly in relationships, but I am also a planner. So I'm very I'm always like, oh, like, what about when we get married and when we have babies? And I think about all the things and this person's like, I met you yesterday. And I'm like, why aren't you immediately obsessed with me though? Kind of.
Well, there is that. I'm in agreement.
Yeah. If you're not in love with me in a matter of days, it's not worth it, honestly.
I feel like that does happen for me. And then days later, they're not. So, easy come, easy go, like.
Yeah. But I do think, I think if I'm going to enter something serious with somebody, yes, I move quickly, but I do put thought into it. If I really feel like there's red flags and I very much trust my gut feeling. Like I have been very mindful about in the past couple of years of if my gut is telling me something's off, it is off and it's usually right. So if my gut is telling me that I shouldn't move forward in a relationship, I won't. Even if it
the reason I ask about that specifically is because I feel like when we're young, first start dating, right? We take it slow.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least I did. I feel when I was younger, before you get into that, start thinking about the future thing, right? Or even before you're intimate or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then there's a middle period where you jump into things, right? Mm-hmm. And then I feel like now I'm getting, of course, a lot of people my age are married in a long-term commitment already, but I feel like when you get here at this point, you're back to taking it slow again. Right.
Yeah.
And hey, let's slow this down.
Because I think also when you get at my age, I don't really have a ton to lose. You know what I'm saying? I have time, theoretically I have time to
See, I would think about it the other way.
Not that you have a child, you have a past marriage, you have other things.
A baggage?
You do. You have more things to consider. So I think it makes more sense. I think it's actually more irresponsible for you to jump into something because you have more.
You don't have a child, you're an adult.
Yeah, but I live with you, girl. I don't want you bringing these weird ass men back here. And I'll say that too. I'll call them weird to their face. I don't care.
I can't with you.
I don't like these men.
Tell us how you feel, Abby. Don't hold back. Okay.
No, I do bully some of her boyfriends. Not
all of them.
That. All of them, actually. Yeah.
Not that. Wait.
They deserve it.
Let me restate that. There's been a lot, but
they
what? No,
one at a time. I was one at a time. They're not all.
Oh, right. Yeah, no. We have group dates. They all show up. Get to know each other. Roast me. Oh, wait. Oh, I was going to say, I would think it'd be the opposite for you though. And I only say that because.
What do you mean? What are you referring to?
When you said oh, I have nothing to lose, this blah, 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 whatever you just said. I kind of have always felt it's the other way, right? Sort of, because you do have your life ahead of you, but you have things that you want to attain probably by a certain age.
Yeah, that's true.
Marriage, kids, buying a house, all those things.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't have any of those things in my future. I mean, maybe, obviously not kids, right?
Yeah.
I guess those same things could be in my future, but I've already done them. So it's it would be nice if it happened. Not the kid thing, definitely not. But it doesn't have to happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that. I think maybe there's more pressure at my age dating than your age.
It's a milestone that people start telling you need cats.
Yeah. Because you're right. I think, that's true. There are certain milestones that I want to hit. I, of course, want to be married one day. That is and that, kind of, it does have to do with go with the flow because I'm bad at going with the flow sometimes. I'm I need to know. So when do you want to get married? Should we set a date? Do I need to send out the invitations? And meanwhile, we've been dating 2 months. And I'm so we're getting married though. You know what I mean? So I think I do struggle to go with the flow because I always say I'm an anticipator. I'm always anticipating what's next, what's coming next. What does our future hold? And things like that and actually I talked about it with my therapist today. Her name is also Jennifer. I talked to her today and that's kind of something we talked about is that I've learned to kind of, and am currently learning to take a step back and enjoy things and let it sit and be comfortable in that instead of being so anxious about the future. However, there are things, because that is an ultimate goal of mine, to be married, to have a right.
You want to make sure the other person is on board,
right?
Or at least it's a goal of theirs.
Or and she even brought up if you know for sure you want kids and you meet someone who doesn't want kids.
Right.
It's not that you're planning too far. It's just that's a hard no for you or a hard yes.
Right. We talked about in the relationship one. It was if you have firm, you should state them. Don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Right?
If you have a firm yes
or no.
That way you don't waste people's time. Yeah. But some things, you don't.
Somebody comes in and it's like, hey, Jen, I want you to have my baby. I'm like, oh, that's too bad. I already have one. Bye.
Yeah.
They did that.
Let's read some comments that we got.
I will have your grandchildren. Maybe a puppy.
Richard said, I used to be a people watcher too. So, we all like to, I like to.
We used to watch you watch people, Richard.
Observe and judge. I am a judger. K-Man Drums, hey, says your sis is me. Talking about, I think, running on trips.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or is that my sister's name?
Y'all are a different breed.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Y'all are a different breed. Terry said, when I'm going out of the country, I want to see everything. We love traveling with a tour group.
She does, yeah.
Brittany said, man, my sister's friend said that vacation equals hibernation. And I said, not when we are in Barbados, though.
For sure.
Yeah, sometimes it's not always about adventuring. It's about actually vacationing and resting. Sammy said, relatable. Hey, girl. I think so. Richard said, go Abby, whenever I said I bully your boyfriends. And then Brittany also said, not bully the boyfriends. Dating stinks. I'm lucky if it lasts 3 weeks. That's from Jen George. Sammy said, but it's such a weird age. Like, I never wanted to have kids, but like, as I'm getting closer to 30, I find myself being okay with having kids. I think.
I mean, you can change your mind.
Yeah.
So I've been married twice. By the way, that clip on
Tasteful and Toxic, I think.
Was it Tasteful and Toxic?
Yeah.
It was funny. She roasted me on another show. I wasn't even there.
She wasn't there.
Shout out to Brother Cardi, who was like, be nice to your mother. So I had, first marriage, I had you, and then I did not actually want any more children.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met my second husband who said he wanted children. And I was like, So the longer we thought about it, I said, I started coming around. He didn't pressure me into it. I just said, okay, well, I just wanted to make sure that like he accepted you first and we had a good relationship before bringing more kids.
Most people are in the gray area, but there are people who they know for a fact that they want children. And there are people who for a fact know that they don't ever want children. I do think a lot of people live in the gray area, but if someone is telling you, no, I for sure don't want that, don't think that you can change them.
Or don't do that.
Yeah. Don't put yourself through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you should never go into anything thinking you're going to change a person. If they change for the better, that's great. But you better like them the way they are because they probably aren't going to change. Anyway, no, but then for us, we then decided we would have children. And that was actually what you were talking about because we wait a year.
Yeah.
It was our premarital counselor told us to wait a year before having kids. And 6 months into the marriage, I was like, let's have a baby. Because it was the kind of the letdown after
things are dying down.
Yeah.
You have all this like anticipation and all this.
We planned a wedding. We went on a honeymoon. We bought a house. We did all the things. Let's have a baby. And he was like, oh, let's wait a year. So we waited a year. I was over it. And then every year for like 5 or 6 years, I was like, should I stop taking birth control? And he's like, eh. I'm like, it's not doing it for me. So
yeah, that's not a big enough push.
So there you go. You're an only child. Sorry, or you're welcome. However you feel about that.
Depends on the day, really.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's going with the flow, I guess. We just were like,
Yeah.
I guess we're not doing that.
So do you think it's like, what do you think is better? Do you think it's better to be a planner or do you think it's better to be kind of more spontaneous?
I think you can mix it. And I just did this, yesterday, I guess. I was texting you and she was you were giving me kind of your days off and your plan,
my schedule.
And so she said, if you want to go on a trip, this is the time I'm available. And I'm like, oh, are we going on a trip? She goes, I'm just saying. And I go,
that was no underlying message. I was genuinely being like,
no, I know. But of course, then I was like,
planning anything, it needs to be on this day.
Right. So then I was like, I should plan a trip. So I said, you want to go to California? She said, make it cheap though. I was like, okay, do you want to go to California? We haven't been in a while. And she hadn't answered yet. And I go, or do you want to go to Ohio? Because I know it's everyone's dream to go to Ohio, but we have family there and my parents just moved there.
Yeah.
So, or at the end of last year, we haven't been there yet. And surprisingly, she comes back with, ooh, I want to go to Ohio. Because we can see, and she names a list of all the family, whatever. And I said, cool. And then I messaged her and I go, we should drive. And she goes, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I am not driving.
Absolutely not. No.
So
not to Ohio.
But the reason I'm talking about it's a mix is because I then decided that I'm literally going to travel for like a month. I said, great, I'm going to drive there. You can fly there. I'll pick you up. We'll go from there. We'll go to Maryland. We lived in Maryland, so we have friends there. Mm-hmm. And then you can fly from Maryland back. And I'm going to go down like the East Coast and hit up people I haven't seen in a while. And I'm going to, my mom and everything. I'm like, I'm going to take a month not off. I'm going to work.
I do like the East Coast. I really feel very drawn to the East Coast. If I were to ever leave Texas, I would live in the East Coast. I don't think I'd be a West Coast girly.
Okay.
Also, if we do go, I can bring my thing and we can record a something while we're driving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then since I'm doing a month, we'll do remote stuff anyway. But
yeah.
Anyway, so
I'll shut up.
My point being like, I instantly like message people in different states. Hey, are you gonna be around this week? Are you gonna be just, July, this, and they're like, yes, when are you coming? I'm like, nope, to be determined. So that's like a mix, right? Because like I spontaneously was like, oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna just travel for a month in my car.
Yeah.
And visit all my friends. But it's still gonna take planning.
Right.
To make sure they're available. So which is it? Which category does that fall into?
I guess, there's always a healthy balance.
I feel like it's a little valuable.
I think I asked that question knowing that there wasn't really one is better over the other. I think too much of anything is wrong, right? They're both opposite ends of the spectrum. Being too much of a planner to where you have no wiggle room is annoying to deal with as like, the people around you.
Yeah, don't stack up your whole.
Right.
Work is one. Yeah,
work is one thing. And of course, like y'all saw my Google Calendar, like, of course, like I have a lot going on that I have to arrange and think about, but I do also on some days try to leave room for like, if something comes up, because if I were to plan really like every single day, that I would be exhausted. I'd be exhausted. And then on a day where like I want to leave room for spontaneity, I'm actually just doing nothing because I've overdone it. You know what I'm saying? Which I've also talked about on here before about like overdoing it and then being like really
Is there even like real true spontaneous though? If you think about it, like
some people are irresponsible.
I'm getting philosophical now. Like, does spontaneity exist?
It does. And I think some people are spontaneous to a fault where it's like irresponsible. Like
selfish. There's some selfish stuff.
Yeah, there's some selfish stuff where it's like especially if you already have plans with someone and then they like make other plans and now you're left being like, okay, well I kind of blocked off. I told other people no.
Ooh, let's get petty. Okay. Also,
let me finish my statement. Okay. But yeah, like then that's also frustrating when like you are friends and like making plans with people who are too spontaneous where it's like, now I'm left in the dust because you had a better offer or because you forgot about something that we planned before.
I have a friend that I used to always say, like, I'm going to create an app or a calendar called the better offer one, where you can just put all the things and what day you have to commit by.
Yeah.
To wait and see if something better comes along.
Like a due date kind of thing.
Sorry. I'm going to get petty though.
Get petty, girl.
I was going to say like, if it's a romantic interest, and a romantic person spontaneously invites you on a trip or to go out of town, you were not the first choice. Like,
say that again?
If a romantic interest,
like someone you're
at the last minute, someone like you like, not your partner, like just someone that you like or likes you or have been flirting. If you get invited somewhere at the last minute, you were probably not the first choice.
No, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think you're speaking from an experience, but I don't always think.
I'm speaking of multiple experiences.
I don't think that's always true.
It's not always true.
I think sometimes
it's potentially true.
Especially if it's like a romantic interest and you guys aren't like maybe serious or anything, right? They could have been planning it without having anyone in mind to come with them. And then maybe as the trip gets closer, then they're like, well, we've been talking for a while. Would you want to come with me? You know what I'm saying? I think there's that side of it too.
I'm not saying every time.
Yeah.
Because I asked.
You did.
I didn't say every time.
You said when. Okay.
Okay. You may not be the first. How about that? Although I went out on a date a couple of years ago with a guy who took me to Cirque du Soleil.
I just went to that. That was cool.
You did.
Yeah.
But it was like our second date and in the same week. And I was like, who are these tickets for though? And Very cool though. And I actually kind of do this now. He said, no, if there's things coming up that I like, I just buy 2 tickets.
Yeah.
And I mean, somebody's going to go with me, you know, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Does it hurt your feelings when you feel like you're not the first choice to join somebody with something?
No.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, if something doesn't work out, call me. I'll go. I'm down.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well,
I think it depends on your relationship with the person and what it is, right? Because like if someone close enough to me, like let's say they got like tickets or they were doing something that they know I really like. I like roller skating, right? Let's say there's some like roller skating thing and my best friend, she takes her other friend who doesn't even really like roller skating and then she can't go and then ask me. I'm like, well, why didn't you ask me first?
I will say,
like, that was a silly example, but
I will say that I have a friend, we're pretty close, and she kind of gives me a hard time about my Disney obsession. And then I saw on Facebook, then her and her other best friend went to Disney World for her birthday. And I was like, wait a minute. First of all, you gave me a hard time and you went to Disney World for your birthday and not with me. And I put it all over their Facebook. I'm like, I feel attacked. I don't like you guys right now. This is rude. I didn't really mean it, but I was like, what? But with Disney? Like everybody knows to invite me to Disney. Like you shouldn't even think about going without me. In my opinion. Like it's just rude.
Yeah.
I mean, I do live in Texas, so it's a little bit.
Would you go? Like if someone asked you tomorrow, hey, can you go to Disney with me next month? If you weren't doing the trip you're already doing, if you were actually available, would you go?
Yeah. Duh. Of course.
See, I wish I already have a trip next month. My like schedule, I can't be that spontaneous. Not a trip. I can do like an evening maybe, but like I can't do a spontaneous trip. Like it's just not my lifestyle right now does not allow for that. But your lifestyle does because you work from home.
Yeah, if it was a weekend, I mean, I could take off time, do whatever. If I had a month notice, yeah. If it was like next weekend,
yeah,
I'd still try. But
yeah,
I have some friends in California that I was trying to go meet them in Las Vegas next month, but it's literally the weekend after the cruise. And then in between that is the live event for LV with Val, Love and Victory.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, cruise, go to that event, go to Vegas.
That's a lot.
It's not only, I mean, that finances played a part in it as well, right? But also, I'm like, that sounds exhausting.
I do want to take it from a generational perspective too. Do you think
we should do that? That's kind of the point.
Do you think that people in your generation are more spontaneous or more of a planner? And do you think that actually just answer that? I'll shut up. So
I think it depends on my generation. I just think it depends on responsibilities because I'm thinking of my friends and some watch their grandkids or, have a lot of responsibilities where they can't just up and go.
I think for my generation, I see it a lot on like social media, especially with like these influencers and stuff like that. They go on like these spontaneous trips. But I think it does depend on people's lifestyles, right?
Yeah.
And just personalities. I don't necessarily think it's a lot of things I do think change generationally, but I really think the topic we're talking about today, being spontaneous or more go with the flow, I think it
depends on your responsibilities. Because like I said, there was things I wanted to do, but you were still in school, right? And then I was like looking forward to you not being in school. And then I do have a dog, but at some point I didn't want any animals because I still had this dream that I was going to travel. And I didn't want that to be an extra layer of, well, now I got to get somebody to watch the dog. And so you and I are kind of able, because now you're living here, we're able to kind of do stuff because she has somebody to watch her dogs.
Well, and even aside from traveling too, right? I obviously talk about it all the time. I'm in the Houston Show Choir. That was kind of a spontaneous thing I decided to join. Like, yeah, I just kind of, someone signed me up for the auditions and I was like, okay. And I almost considered not even doing it just because like.
You weren't going to go, I remember that.
I wasn't going to go just because like I was lazy. I was like, I don't feel like it. And so I almost didn't do it. I'm glad I did because now I've been in it for a year now. But like, that was even a spontaneous thing that I decided to do that is now a huge part of my life. But because of that, it also allows me to not be as spontaneous. You know what I'm saying? Like, I even told you when I was telling you the dates for trips, I was like, well, it has to be after my show because I'm not going to want to travel and like What if I miss something right before,
right?
Like miss a rehearsal or something like that. So, I think like I said, it was a spontaneous decision that I made. I think and we talked about this last time, the indecisiveness. I'm spontaneous in the sense that I just make decisions. I don't really think about the consequences or the impact. I just deal with them. I'm like, well, I'm just going to deal with whatever
just
happens.
Make a decision, Jennifer.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that goes into decision making.
Quit asking me.
I'm a spontaneous decision maker.
I think because I'm bad with decisions, I know you will. Mm-hmm. That's why I just go this or this. Mm-hmm. But she goes, "Oh my God, just make it." No, that's why I told you. I know I'm bad at it. How
many questions this woman sends me throughout the day. I'm working. It used to be questions throughout the day.
You don't?
I do sometimes too, but still, I don't like questions. It makes me anxious. We're gonna take a break. Is that okay?
Yeah. Do we have comments before the break?
Oh yeah, let's read some comments. I already read that. Brittany said, I think that changes the older you get, because when I was in my 20s, I was ride or die spontaneous. Now, not so much. Yeah.
I mean, responsibilities, I think, play a huge part.
Yeah. And that can be at any age.
So I think
your level of responsibility.
I think like that, and that's your level of spontaneousness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Spontaneity.
Like, thank you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put it on the list of words I've said wrong. Right. So like what we consider now in our life is like, it's like what I'm doing. Making the decision to make that trip is pretty spontaneous. Mm-hmm. It's not really a spontaneous trip, but for the level of responsibility and what goes into it.
You didn't ponder much on it.
I just said, oh, this sounds fun. I'm going to do it. So but it's still going to be planned.
Like healthy balance where like you may make a quick decision, but then you take a while to like bring that decision into.
So is that still spontaneous? I think so.
Ish.
Somebody give me a pass. Say I'm spontaneous.
Say I'm cool and spontaneous, please. Yeah. Somebody.
Don't say I'm boring.
Okay, we are going to go on a quick break, and then we're going to come back with Am I the Asshole? And I'm going to bring out our special guest.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, we are back.
So I just made a spontaneous decision.
Are you going to introduce?
Oh, Minnie.
Yeah.
This is Minnie.
She's being not as like calm as she normally is. Normally she would just sit here and look pretty, but she's pumped. She's excited. But this is her. This is my queen, my daughter. Don't talk about her nails. She's getting them done, okay? Don't talk about her. But this is her. She's my cute little baby. If you don't like chihuahuas, you are wrong. You're wrong. But so she's not being as cute like I wanted her to be, I'm going to go let her out. So tell them your story. I'll be right back.
Oh, so that song that just played during the break is Somebody in Dolly Parton. And so I don't know what she just said, but Somebody in Dolly Parton. And I liked it. I was like, that's a nice song. I like Dolly Parton. You know what? On my little month-long excursion, I'm going to go to Dollywood. So that's going to happen. Look at me going to Dollywood. I'll tell you all about it. I bet they have good food. I don't know why I think that. I really can't do this without her here. So, has anybody been to Dollywood?
What's wrong with you?
I can't do this by myself. Come back.
Also, pro tip, don't carry your white dog on a black sweater.
Pro tip. Dollywood.
You told me about Dollywood?
I just made a decision. I'm going to go to Dollywood.
That's in Tennessee, right? Nashville?
Yeah, but I used to kind of, when it first opened, however many years ago, but it's in my lifetime. I remember it and I laughed about it. Mm-hmm. And then I started kind of joking that I wanted to go. And you know me, I like to overdo jokes. So I started making PowerPoints for my ex-husband. I put Dollywood in there like really to go. And the more I did it, the more I'm like, wait. I actually want to go.
I want to go too, actually.
The more I did it, the more I made jokes about it. I'm like, but that sounds fun, actually.
No, I kind of want to go too.
Oh, you should go in the car with me, but you want to fly. So
I do. Also, I smell like dog now.
Oh.
Okay, let's read some comments.
Oh, somebody else wants to go. Sorry.
Richard said, "Aw," to Minnie because she's so cute. "Aw, Minnie, love her." Maggie said,
Go ahead.
"I brought on a special guest. Don't be rude to our special guest." Oh my God. Maggie said, "You're going to need 2 months probably to plan your trip because you're not that spontaneous."
To plan or to go?
Shay said,
"Oh, because I'm going to see Maggie."
Oh,
she's a stop. I called her.
Shay said, "I passed it last week." I think she's maybe talking about Dollywood.
Oh, Dollywood.
Yeah. It's massive and ridiculous in pricing, but we're rich. So Maddie said she's always wanted to go. Maybe Maddie will go with you.
Who's going to Dollywood?
All right. So, are you guys ready for Am I the Asshole?
I'm ready.
You're ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This one is a short one because I think I'm not good at reading aloud and I sound foolish. So, this one is, am I the asshole for asking my dad to leave his girlfriend for a day? I, 15 female, and my father, 50 male, don't get to see each other often, every other weekend. But recently, he got a girlfriend that he is spending 24/7 with her. Genuinely, every day is spent with her. We've been wanting to go to this ramen place recently, and we were going to go today. We did. She's 15. I'm not gonna say anything. Except he invited his girlfriend and didn't tell me. Genuinely, I just wanted to go with just the two of us. I told him this before, and he still involved her and her son. Yeah, that would annoy me. Anyways, we'll finish. We talked about it on the way home, and I told him I asked for it to just be the two of us. He expressed how he thought she would like it. I told him he could have brought her separately. He disagreed. Am I the asshole for not wanting her there?
I mean, we already know. Oh, but you all don't know. No, you're not. I mean, I'm assuming you doesn't live with her father, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So your father can give you some alone time.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume he sees the girlfriend all the rest of the time. I have so many heated things on this subject. So, yeah. Yes, I think you should make time for your child. You don't have to bring your new person around all the time, even if they get married.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a new relationship and you're a blended household, you can still make time for your child from a previous relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And should, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I am a professional stepchild. So I'm speaking from actually the child's point of view, not the parent, because I have not been a step-parent.
Yeah.
So I haven't really had to really deal with that.
Well, I think there are a lot of women who are threatened by, and I see it a lot, not in my own experience. I haven't experienced this in any perspective, but I've heard of where women get really jealous of their boyfriend or husband's daughter specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, I want to be put first. And it's like, I don't know. For me, if I was dating someone with kids, I would want them to put their kids first. Not
especially if it's not,
because that's a turnoff to me.
It's not a daily thing.
Why are you
But even if it was a situation where the child lived with you, I mean, I still made a point. You are my child, and you lived with me. I still made a point to do things just you and I.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely not the asshole, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's gonna think it. Oh, but we could go. Well,
I want to take it from a different perspective.
Sure.
And I think I try to do the same thing with you, even now that I live with you, if I'm dating somebody, I don't there are some things that I'm like, oh yeah, you come too, mom. Even just a couple weeks ago, it wasn't even with anybody I'm dating, but you went and went to do karaoke and drinks with my 3 friends. Mm-hmm. And you tagged along, but that doesn't mean that you and I don't do stuff, just you and me, or I don't always bring my mom around, and I don't always bring my friends around to hang out with my mom. And that goes the same when I'm dating somebody.
Honestly, I love all her friends. I love chatting with them when they're here. And I went out with them and I was like, oh, I feel really old. It was fun. I love your friends, but I did feel like, hey, maybe I'm not going to do this that often.
Yeah.
It was.
And I think you try to include me with your friends a lot too. Your friends just love me because I'm so.
But my friends all actually want you to go.
But I'm like, no.
And then you act like the oldest one out of all of us.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's read some comments. Shay said, absolutely not. You are entitled to say you want some quality time with just the two of you. That is not being an asshole at all. That is just a daughter needing her father.
Sure.
Facts. No printer.
I mean, and what she specifically mentioned was just going to a ramen place.
For her,
an hour and a half, an hour.
It was for her birthday.
Oh, it was her birthday?
I think. Let me read it again. I'm pretty sure she said it was for her birthday.
Still, though, even more so then.
Oh, no, it wasn't her birthday. She just said, I've been wanting to go to this ramen place. Which also does bother me.
Try it out with your daughter, and if you like it, then take your girlfriend.
And that's kind of what she said.
Right.
Well, and then also what irritates me sometimes is if I and I do this to you. I do this to you. You'll show me something and be like, oh, this place is cool. And I'll go with somebody else.
She does. I bought tickets one time and you went, but there was a reason. What happened? I had to stay home. Something happened.
Oh, it was for my birthday. It was the
pop-up place.
Yeah.
But why couldn't I? What did I have to do?
Oh, our water stopped working or our power went out or something. And so you stayed and dealt with that. Because it was like on my actual birthday and you were like, you didn't want me to have to.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Didn't even bring me anything back.
Because I mean, it would have been melted.
I'm just messing with you.
Maddie said, "OMG, yes. If I was the girlfriend, I would be like, why don't you want to spend time with your daughter alone?"
This has actually been like in my dating life irritating to me. Yeah. When like the guy I'm dating is like, oh, come out to dinner with me and my kid.
That's very intimate.
That's great, but like I'm not sure it's time for me to meet your children yet. Like, what if this doesn't work out? And it won't. I have a 3-month limit.
Yeah.
3 months, you're gone.
Yeah.
It's the kid. Don't introduce me to your children. It's the kiss of death. They usually like me though.
Yeah. But that can be confusing for the child too, especially if.
And I like children.
Yeah.
Like I it's not because, well, I actually don't like, I don't mind. I've liked anybody I've dated with their kids. If I've met their kids, I actually really, really like their kids. Mm-hmm. And but that's a whole nother level of sadness when it doesn't work out.
Because then you feel like you make connections with more than just one person.
Yeah. I'm actually still friends with one of my ex's children. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, you are.
Because she's older. She's an adult. So.
Ooh, Maddie said red flag.
It is.
And then Shay said, crying out loud, Abby, if you don't start bringing your mom breakfast tacos home, you're going to the corner.
You did bring me breakfast tacos.
I did. Yesterday, she wasn't even home. You were already at dinner, and I was going to pick up some food because I had a day.
I meant, and then you brought me breakfast tacos over the weekend.
I did. I've been being better about it. And then I ordered Chinese food last night, and I offered you some.
Ask me
Although I saw Jack in the Box this morning, and I did not receive not even a taco, not even like, I like their curly fries.
It was late.
I live here. Anyways, I guess it was payback, so it's fine. I'll get over it. But yeah, so I think we all agree, not the asshole.
Yeah, that's kind of I know it was short and that's probably why you picked it, but that's kind of a no-brainer one.
Yeah. Also, you guys can send me.
Unless you're the girlfriend who thinks that you have to go to everything.
Facts.
Which, settle down.
She's a weird ass bitch. She's a weird ass bitch. Yeah. That's actually been my favorite phrase lately. Weird ass bitch. Like I feel like it hits a whole new level of insult.
It's a wob.
I don't say it to their face.
It's not wob.
But wob. If I'm talking about somebody and there are people that I know that like, and there's no other way to describe it. Like you're just a weird ass bitch.
Is it an insult?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I know.
It's just like, it's a nice little
if you
jab.
Call me that now.
Calling someone just a bitch doesn't really do much, but like, you're a weird ass bitch. That hits so much harder to me.
No, I feel like if you said that to me, I'd probably laugh. And now I know it's an insult. So we'll see.
Because
see how it goes.
Weird isn't, I don't mean it like a cute, quirky way. I mean it like you're weird. Like you got issues.
Well, you got to say it with the face.
You're a weird ass bitch.
Oh, then I know. All right. Now we know.
Yeah.
The t-shirt's coming out soon.
Bye, weird ass bitches. Love you.
It's like a pitch perfect. I love you, bitches.
Oh, yeah.
Or weirdos. That's what she calls them. Anyway.
Awesome. This was a great episode.
What's next week?
Next week. Oh, it's okay, drama queen.
Oh.
We're going to talk about the dramatics. Are you emotional? Are you?
Oh, it was, like emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence. That's what we're going to talk about. Yeah.
Abby likes the names. And so she says it and I'm like, but what was the real subject again?
I think I have incredible emotional intelligence. Better than you, actually.
Oh. We're going to debate.
We're going to debate next week.
We're going to debate next week.
On Journeys and Ambitions. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Also, I was going to say, if you guys want to submit any Am I the Assholes that you want to discuss, just message us on Facebook or on Instagram. All of our things are at Journeys and Ambitions. Twitter's different. It's something else. Don't worry about it. Do that one. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, like and subscribe on YouTube. Send us any topics that you want us to talk about. And we'll do that. Yeah. We have a monthly meeting where we pick topics for the next month. So, get it in before next Tuesday.
Yes. Before this coming Tuesday. It's this coming Tuesday.
Remember, right.
We are on LV with Val Radio. Be sure to download the LV with Val app. Just look up LV with Val on the App Store, and you'll see it pop right up. We have music 24/7, various other radio shows you guys can tune into. Peace and blessings.
You're so good at this.
Bye. I do it for a living. Bye, guys.